Alright guys, welcome to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make an ice bath for virtually $0. So let's get into today's video. Alright, so now that my ice bath is over, I'm going to run you through a few things why I said virtually this is going to cost you no money. First of all, the freezer. If you're doing this new, it's gonna run you into some money. I didn't do it new at all. Where I work, they had an old chest freezer that my boss was willing to give away to me. So if you have one just laying around, I know that's not a likely scenario, but if you have one laying around, you can make an ice bath out of it fairly easy as long as it's working properly. So this is an old used freezer that was on a supply boat, and I took it off, cleaned it up, painted it, and sealed it. You're gonna have to seal it. Also, I didn't have to buy a sealer. The sealer was already at my work site as well. So I used 5200, and you just line the seams wherever metal meets like this and makes a 90 degree. You just line the seams of it with 5200 or some type of seam sealer that's gonna be water protective, meaning that water won't be able to get through it. Also, it has to be able to withstand cold. That's pretty much how I did mine. So I had a process of where I took the freezer, sanded it down because it had some rust in it. My own still has a little bit of rust in it at the bottom, and I painted it, I sealed it, and then I put the water in and I dropped the temperature. The only thing that you're actually gonna have to buy is the thermostat for it that's gonna regulate the temperature of the water itself, and that's only like 20 something bucks. I'm gonna have the link in the description towards that as well. But right now, why I decided to make this video today is because this is a day that I'm going to be rinsing out my ice bath. I'm going to be dumping all the water and ice out of it, rinsing it out with my hose, filling it back up, and then closing it so that it can freeze and be ready for me for tomorrow. So let me give you a good look of that. Alright, so let me give you a good overview. I have it tucked away neatly into my shed, and as you can see, ice bath. It has ice in it, water in it. The only issue I ran into, I think the paint that I used to paint it was fairly cheap, so every time it ices over, it kind of breaks some of that paint off, and that's where you get that line from going around. There is the thermostat. It is an Inkbird thermostat. Let me see if I can get it to focus on it. There it is. I have it set to 35 and the actual temperature is 35.9. This is the temperature probe that turns the freezer off and on so that you don't just have a solid block of ice. When you come back to it, it regulates the temperature, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, let me get you a picture of the seam sealer. It looks like this. Let me see if I can get some light in there, but it's kind of hard to video it. But all of the seams are sealed with that seam sealer, and that's how the water stays in. And anytime you go in the ice bath, you're going to want to unplug it, disconnect it from power to make sure that there's no possibility of you getting shocked, because this is a makeshift ice bath. You know, the ice baths cost thousands of dollars for a reason. It's a complete system, but this is a very cheap workaround of getting your cold exposure throughout the week. I do a lot of fitness stuff, so I definitely need this, and this is a very cheap and affordable way of doing it. Instead of filling up your freezer or filling up your hot tub or your bathtub with ice, that's very expensive to do as well. So this is a very good alternative to this. I'm now gonna flip this thing over, dump out all the water and ice, and then give you guys a better interior look of my ice bath. Alrighty, so now that all the ice and water is out of it, you can get a better look inside of it. And there it is. Like I said, mine still has some rust right in the bottom of it, and you can see the ring around it that the paint has been removed because of the ice buildup. But you just plug the chest freeze in, use this thermometer to bring it down to the right temperature. You leave it plugged in. Every week or so, you're gonna have to change the water if you don't get some type of water filter. But for starting low on an extreme budget, this is gonna get you going very, very quickly. I'm currently filling the ice bath back up, and like I said, mine has a little bit of rust at the bottom. Some ice in it from the last time it froze over. This is the thermometer. I hang it about halfway in the freezer itself. As you guys can see, I have my thermometer set at 35, and the actual temperature right now is 65 that it's saying it's reading. So I fill it up right about here because you have to anticipate for when your body actually goes in and it brings that water level up. And this has been carrying me through, and this is an old freezer. I'm pretty sure this is maximum 10 to 15 years old, but this has been carrying me through for the past I would say 3 to 4 months, and this has been doing really well. It's been doing wonders for me. There are so many added benefits of the ice bath that it's really worth the effort to try and get some cold exposure in your life. All right, so like I was saying, it's super simple to do, super easy on a budget, especially if you have an old chest freezer lying around at work that you can ask your boss for, or if someone you know has one and they're throwing it out. These things are super affordable to make in this form. You just seal up the ends of the freezer that are actually, because it's one big metal sheet that sits inside the freezer, you just seal up the ends that are butted together, which means you can see the seams in them, because some of the metal is just folded over, which you don't have to seal those ends. You have to seal the ones where the metal comes together itself, so that water doesn't get onto your compressor that's internally inside the freezer. So once you have your freezer sealed up, and if it's a fairly used freezer, it's going to be chewed up like how my own is. You're going to need to paint it, and you're going to need to maintain it, but for as little money as it takes, and for the added benefits of what an ice bath does for your body and what is released within, the dopamine, the testosterone, the recovery benefits, it goes on and on. It's well worth the headache of trying to get some cold exposure in your life. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments, make sure to leave them below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Always remember, don't drift without your dreams, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.